and welcome to the Rolling With series. I'm Will, and with me is the bounty of my horn aplenty,
Sarah.
And today we're looking at Dominion Cornucopia. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right, Cornucopia is a small expansion focused on variety and introduces new cards that are added outside the 10 main kingdom piles. So let's start with the variety of cards. There are cards that just count different names. A lot of them are different named cards. Or, actually, I think that's mainly it.
Yeah, it wants different.
Yes.
It wants you to play around with all the kingdom cards.
Right.
And for that reason, it's a very good way to, expand what you're doing. And because it adds more cards to it, it adds prize cards when you play with the tournament. It adds a new Bane card for the Young Witch. Bane cards is nothing more than a name that's thrown around. It's still a basic kingdom card, but it's like an 11th card now spliced in, so you have more choices.
Yeah, and that's the great thing is if you play with both the Young Witch and the tournament, you're going to now have 2 extra stacks outside your 10 main kingdom ones. Now, the one that the Young Witch introduces is still considered in the supply, and you buy as normal. It's just picked outside of the normal 10. So you pick your normal 10, then the Young Witch says, find another one that's worth 2 or 3. That becomes your Bane card, and when you play the Young Witch, it asks for other players to reveal
a Bane
card, which happens to be whatever it is that is the Bane card for that game.
Yeah.
And then you gain a curse or not a curse. I think it prevents a curse.
Yes.
In that case. Now, the tournament is being triggered off of whether someone has a province. If you play a province with the tournament, you can take a prize. A prize is in the stack, and I believe they are differently named cards as well within the stack. I am forgetting at the moment if you can pick.
Yeah, I believe you can pick.
You can pick, okay.
It's very different than any other one because most other stacks, you just take the top card. This one, you actually pick up all the prizes, choose which one, and there's only one copy of each. It's all different cards throughout the entire prizes.
Right.
There may be a little bit of overlap into what some of them do, but for the most part, it's all different.
Yeah, they're generally different mechanisms as well. Like I believe one of them's an attack card, but not all of them are attack cards. So, but they do different things. And again, they work within this whole differently named mechanism. So like there's a victory card that is
worth different points at the fairground.
Yeah.
A different number of cards in hand gives it its value.
Right.
So put as much differentness in there.
Yes, exactly.
So who would we say this is for?
Honestly, anyone who's played Dominion, beginner or advanced, I think this is good for. Because it's still pretty simple in what you do with everything, but it adds more variety. I mean, like a little bit more complexity, because you do have to keep track of getting differently named cards. And like for me, that's very difficult. It's hard to remember sometimes. Did I buy a copy of that card? Did I not buy a copy of that card? So that could be a little more complex depending on your memory retention. But otherwise, it's still the variety enjoyment of just trying to get different things. Because I tend to like games where I can try a little bit of different things, where some expansions really focus on, okay, create a strategy that's like 3 cards. You're just going to buy these 3 cards. That's going to be the core of your game, and that's it. I personally prefer ones that are more varied. This is also really good if you just want to sprinkle some of these cards in with another expansion.
Yes, this is a great way to make you explore different options that you're normally not inclined to do because it's not your jam. But this encourages that in such a way that the cards become more powerful the more of different stuff you try out.
Right.
So it's a great splash. One thing that is a little downside is the fact, because it's a small expansion, if you just buy, say, a pack of the money and play just Cornucopia, you may not have enough variability from game to game if you're just playing Cornucopia.
Right.
Because it is a small game. It is one that's kind of designed to be that splash.
Right.
Synergized with something else.
Yeah. They have not, I think there's only 4 small box expansions. And in late more recent years, they've always done a big box. I think they've realized that as much as the small box is affordable, the lack of variety in it is a major downside when your core of Dominion is variety.
Yeah.
So,
On the plus side, though, it is cheaper, so
Yeah.
it's an easy one to splash.
Yes.
And like we said, for any player skill level, this is a great one.
yeah, I mean, I do recommend being familiar with Dominion, knowing how to play it. This would not be my choice for introducing Dominion to someone who's never played Dominion before. But for someone who's played Dominion, maybe those who've played deck builders, but not Dominion. But I still wouldn't really recommend this as this is the first.
No, this is not a first play.
Nah.
This is once you got a couple of plays in and you see people getting into ruts, this is a rut buster.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah? We'll try playing with this, and then boom, blows their minds.
Yeah, this will be, you've got to try different things and get it to work.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that will do it for us. Remember to check out the Board Game Theater, where I perform Dominion Cornucopia and say autumn a lot. It says autumn.
It is autumn. I mean,
Yes.
look at the front cover. It's autumn. They're
Autumn.
It's a harvest.
Yes, it's the harvest. And that will do it for us. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
In Autumn. Yeah, that's it. We've been Rolling with Dominion. Autumn!